euer dreckiges Lachen vergeht, wenn ihr euer eigenes Blut fließen seht, die Waffengemeinschaft Germaniens steht, für einen Kommen ist es jetzt zu spät.
I've got one that can see.
Where there's thunder, there's lightning. John Nada. Okay, so part 2 of this story, taking you back to where we were. So I had, went by the apartment and everything, and so basically, she appreciated the letter. We reconciled all the differences and the things that upset her or whatever. And so I figured, well, that's probably that, and I didn't really have any intentions beyond just basically trying to clear the air. And so what happened from there, later that night, I get a text from her, asking if she can call me the next day. And I said, sure. So the next day rolls around and she calls me and we're kind of talking about things and just kind of clearing the air a little bit more with her. And she kind of tells me that, she felt guilty. She hardly wanted to touch the boyfriend because she felt guilty because I guess she felt like she was cheating on me in a sense or something. And then she had to go and said she'd call me back, later the next day. And so she texted me that night saying, let me just call you, the next day. So I'm on my way back home from drill. It's like a 5-hour drive. And she calls me and we start kind of, just by that point, I think we'd moved beyond the stuff that had happened previously. And she just kind of mentions, just kind of like, well, were you happy to at least get to talk again and everything? And she said, well, it's bittersweet because she was happy about it, but now she's with this other guy. And she just kind of was like, what do we do now? So the conversation gets a little bit more interesting. And I mean, at this point, I've pretty well established that she still has feelings for me, which was kind of a surprise to me because right before we stopped talking, she just, especially after the dog comment thing got made, she told me she just, was completely turned off. And like I said, if I didn't make an effort, we didn't talk. And so she just seemed completely disinterested and just completely over things and done and over with it. But now, 3 months later, she sees me again, we talk again, and now she's got feelings again, or at least has some residual feelings. And she told me that, 2 months into us not talking, she would go back to old Facebook conversations and stuff. And by about the 3rd month, she just, I guess, kind of accepted that she wasn't going to hear from me, and like she was kind of busy with what was going on with the new guy. Now, here's the thing. She actually met this guy in like August, and it was off of a dating site. And she was friends with him. She was friends with him first, which was in stark contrast to how we met, because we didn't start out as friends at all. But they were friends for about a month or so. 2 or 3 days after, because I stopped talking to her like in late September, and 2 or 3 days after that, they officially started their relationship. So it wasn't like 3 months or 2 months or even a month. It was literally, 2 or 3 days after the last time we had talked. So she couldn't have known then that I wasn't going to talk to her for 3 months, And the reason that I needed to not do that was to come away from everything and detach from it, because it was really just causing me anxiety at that point. But during the course of the conversation, she brings up something about, we were talking and she said, well, I mean, you have physically hurt me. And I was just like, no, I've never abused you or anything. And she said, well, I don't mean like that. She meant sexually, which at that point told me she was thinking about sex with me in the past and thinking about sex with me right then. And So I just was kind of like, well, do you have feelings for me? I mean, are you still attracted to me? And she said she didn't really want to answer that because basically she would feel guilty if she did, because she didn't feel like it was fair to the new guy, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. And, but eventually, at some point in the conversation, she just comes out and says, yes, I'm still really physically attracted to you. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I know. So she's conflicted emotionally and everything because she's dating this guy, but I think part of her still, wanted to date me. Or I think that she just didn't really see a future with this guy. That I kind of got the sense that he was just a stand-in guy until something better came along. Because again, going back to that BPD, not wanting to be alone and feeling lonely and all this. But I think that she knew that she hadn't, because for whatever reason, she was really physically attracted to me. And then on top of that, some of, my occupation and some of my accomplishments in my life, in comparison to this other guy, I think she kind of knew that she had dated down, like I said. But so she was just kind of like, and I guess like the night that I came by after I left, I guess they kind of got into a little bit of an argument over things, or at least they got into a discussion about it. And he was obviously a little bit upset about it. And she was just kind of like, she didn't understand, or she just kind of said, he didn't understand why she felt guilty about touching him and all that. And it's just kind of like, well, I mean, even I understood why he would, be upset about that. But I say all that to say this, that she brought up the thing. She got upset and she got a little bit mad that I didn't talk to her for 3 months. Again, going back to the BPD thing. And it was just kind of put on me that, well, you didn't talk to me for 3 months. And it was just kind of almost like she was blaming me for the situation she was in now, this guilt that she felt. She's with this guy and she wants to do right by him, but I think the attraction's not quite there as much as she would like it to be. I mean, he seems like a good enough guy, a stable guy, a nice guy, a guy that would do anything for her, a guy that would bend over backwards to fulfill whatever her wishes were, which is precisely why she's not that attracted to him, or if nothing else, why she's conflicted about it. Because I mean, if she was attracted to him, there would be no question, it was nice to reconcile and everything, but let's just be friends. So, I mean, obviously she's not getting the drama she wants. She's not getting the excitement she wants. The guy's just too normal. The guy's just too average. And she's just kind of like, again, in this thought where, is this the best I can do? So I just, like I said, I say all that to say this. That is a insight into the mind of a woman, but not only that, but the mind of a woman with borderline personality disorder, which I'm convinced she has. And again, the blame was put on me for not talking to her for 3 months, but this was all I did. Prior to that, like things just, like I said, had been going downhill. I didn't know that she had been talking to this other guy in August, even if they were friends. And of course, obviously, I was talking to other girls also, but I mean, that sort of makes sense a little bit more. But when we dated the first time, I was so focused on accomplishing my goals and everything that I really wasn't concerned with where things went with me and her. And once I accomplished that goal, and we started talking again, when I started treating her the way that she said she wanted to be treated, and regarding her feelings more and treating her more as a priority in life, that's really when a lot of the interest started to wane. Whereas before, when I could take it or leave it, she couldn't be interested enough. So again, it goes back to this: when girls say they want a nice guy, they here's the thing: this girl really doesn't know what she wants. I mean, 26 or 27 years old and doesn't really know what she wants. But the point is that it was my fault that I did not continue to put myself in a position of pain and hurt and anxiety. It was my fault that I didn't continue to initiate communication with somebody that couldn't be bothered to send a text. Like I would call this person and text this person and maybe an hour or two later get a response. It was my fault that I didn't continue to let somebody walk all over me. And as a result, she's in the position she's in with conflicted feelings. But yet it never dawned on her, and this goes back to the whole women never take responsibility for anything, because she never took responsibility for any of the previous things either. But it never dawned on her that, I mean, the whole reason that we talked at all was because I made entirely 100% the effort to do so. And when I saw no benefit in doing that, and in fact detriment in doing that, I walked away from it. I had to do what I had to do to protect myself. But she somehow failed to realize that just because I didn't pick the phone up and call or text her didn't mean that she couldn't pick the phone up and call and text me. At no point in 3 months did she ever do that. At no point did she, I pretty much quit making the effort, and that's why I quote unquote fell off the face of the earth. But yet at no time did she make any effort to reach out to me. So had it really been that big of a deal, and that's the thing I don't understand. If you can get on, Facebook and look at old messages and everything else, if you had really wanted to talk to me and really had cared about me, why didn't you call? Why didn't you text? Why? How am I to blame for that? I guess is the thing that I couldn't fathom. But it goes back to the whole, she only, just very solipsistic. She only saw it from her viewpoint. And again, that whole BPD thing where I'm just going to shut down and not deal with this. So it just was bizarre to me. I mean, I can't really understand. I couldn't really understand that thinking. So now it's just kind of been this thing where we've made our peace with one another. She's still with the guy at the moment. I don't really know what the end result of that's going to be. But I don't see that relationship really lasting the test of time, because like I said, I don't think that's what she really wants. And yet, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of one of these things where I made my peace with it and had to go on about life. But I mean, this is how dangerous these people are. This is how dangerous the dating world is. And had I not been who I was, it could have been a potentially bad situation with a white knighting situation. And the thing is I'd love to tell you what my occupation is, and some of you probably guess, but I'd obviously rather not say it on here. But the fact that, only because she was super physically attracted to me, and I was the quote Chad in the situation, could I have ever gotten away with doing the things that I did. Had that not been there, it would have been a really inappropriate thing to do, to just go by there. But because that attraction was there, and because that the feels were there, it became totally appropriate for me to do, and actually if again, had anybody else done it, it would have been disastrous. But I just wanted to share that story with you. You have to be careful out there. As they say, don't stick your dick in crazy, and I totally did not abide by that. So only time will tell what the outcome of things will be, but hopefully there won't be very much fallout from my end. Again, sorry for the length of the story. Hopefully somebody got something out of it. Hopefully somebody learned something out of it. Until we talk again, this has been John Nada, and these are the Days of Thunder. And remember that you're always free to do as you're told.